David, what a beautiful goats here. And with the new Megatins coming out this week, I thought I'd showcase you the version of Viking Snake I've been playing for the last couple of weeks that was designed to play a more budget version of the deck before Bonfire gets reprinted. Now, I say budget, it's semi-budget, and obviously this doesn't give a good impression of being budget, but I got a friend who pulled this at locals, owed me some money, so that's all about this one. You can get the cheaper versions, no worries. So this is fucking Snake Eye. It's more traditional fucking Snake Eye without the Feast with engine. We also, like I said, have no bonfires or the Simple Spoils package. And the deck's done fairly well for me at locals, so I'm interested what I can do when I can get bonfires in the deck. Let's take a look. The Snake Eye engine: 1 ash, 1 poplar, 1 oak, 1 flamberge, 1 birch. So obviously ash and oak are limited to 1. These are your 2 best stars in the deck. This can search you any Snake Eye monster. This can get you in your back row. So of course this can also summon itself out when it's searched and put stuff in the back row when it's sent to the graveyard. So what you can do, obviously the best combo is you go this to this, summon this of its effect, get some follow up, and then do your Snake Eye plays, because this card can then get you another Snake Eye. You can send this and another Snake Eye to get Snake Eye from deck. So you send these 2, you can get this. That gives you this in the back row, this back with this card's revival effect. And then you can just go with your combos from there. Which is then to get this out, which when it's sent to the graveyard brings 2 back. So you use this and this as link material, which gives you access to a link 2. That can then get this back, give you these 2 back, and that gives you access to a link 3 and then link 4. And for additional spicy tech, I do play 1 birch. This card's summoning effect is only during the opponent's turn, so it's not that good. But you can press something from your hand. You can control fire, so it's extra extender if necessary. Backing up the monster lineup, we have the 1 field spell, 3 copies of Sinful Spoils, and my personal tech, 3 Word Off though. So we'll start things off with the field spell. This card puts a card in your spell trap zone, and it buffs other monsters 6 going second. This gives you protection against Nibiru, which is something you can do against them, and it also gives you help pushing going second. And this card obviously is our searcher of the deck. You send a card to the 5th grave and summon a level 1 fire. This means it gives us access to both engines, both the Fire King engine with Ponix and any of our Snake Eyes that is not Flamberge. It can also be used to recycle our monsters if we go into the grind, so that makes it double good. Now this is my spicy tech for the deck, which is 3 Word Off those. What this does is that if you control level 1, you can add level 1 to your hand, but it burns you for 2k if you don't normal summon. So obviously the ideal play is to special summon out a level 1 and then use this to give us Ash for our normal summon. But if you don't normal summon the level 1 you pick, this card gives you a really good way to extend. I will say this though, this card is absolutely going out, or at the very least going to 1 when Bonfire becomes more available, because opening up non-level 1 Vikings or Flamberge and this, which I've done twice, will almost guarantee you to lose. That's our main Fire King engine. For our Fire King engine now, we have triple Ponix, triple Kirin, triple Garunix, 1 Beirong, and 2 Abrasa, and 1 Rangbali. So let's cut through this quickly. I'm playing Rangbali to play around removal cards like evenly matched or cards of similar vein. It's also a good way to trigger off your Fire King during your opponent's turn because it pops a card to do this negate. And with the beast, it will summon itself from the hand. It's more damage or going second or an extender going first. I'll probably cut this to 1. If I did this again, this is a monster reborn and a spell negate. And a monster negate. So I use this as my one way of protecting against Nibiru. In addition to this, so basically what this is here for is to give you more extenders in the grave or give you Nibiru protection on the field. But it's very easy to get through for your usual fucking combos, so I probably play 1 in the future. Speaking of which, 1 Beirong. This is mostly what we pop up for the Garunix for its on-field effect. This card gives us a Fire King search at the end, at the beginning of our opponent's next turn. which gives us more follow-up or a curing hand to protect our field and extend our Viking plays. Garunics is obviously part of our Viking island combo. We pop something with the island, get this into our hand if we don't have it. One other Viking if we do, throw this off the destruction, pop another card, and go from there. In the future, I would definitely cut this down to 1. You don't need 2, but ideally you don't want to open this, you want such a Viking island. So I definitely cut this down to 1. Then we have the start of the Viking lineup, which is Kieran. This card can put fire monster summon itself, and since the grave was destroyed, you can revive another Viking from your graveyard or some from your hand. This can not only trigger our Viking effects and give us back resources for link climbing, it can also protect our Snake Eye part of the deck from hand traps by popping them while their effects are going off. This lets you guarantee Ash or Poplar go through. And with Poplar, it's really good because you can just Poplar on the back row and carry your plays from there. And of course, Ponyx. Now, most builders of this deck only play 1 Ponyx, but with the word After Tech, I need more level 1s, so I decided to play 3. Ponyx gets our engine started, it sets us a Viking Spell Trap on summon, which lets us either get Skyfire going second to help break boards, or the Sanctuary, which gives us our island going first. This gives us both search potential and protection for the island, and ability to get a dark hole on the opponent's turn. Also, when a fire is destroyed, this comes back. You can send this card from your hand, like Daddy Garunix, and it comes back when it's destroyed. It comes back to your hand during the next turn, giving you even more recursion in this deck. Backing up the Viking monsters, we have double island, double sanctuary, and 1 Skyburn. Now, Skyburn is the best card going second. You can use this, pop after your Vikings done their effects, pop the Vikings, and then go through your Snake Eye plays. This card protects your Viking Island, which is your biggest playmaker on the Viking side. It gives you access to the Viking Island when it's activated, and it also gives you XC during your opponent's turn, which lets you go into the Viking XC and Dark Wall the board during your opponent's turn if necessary. And of course, Viking Island, it lets you pop cards in your hand to trigger Viking effects, such as Viking monsters. It can let you make use of Dead Ash Blossoms. And yeah, that downside is really bad, because it covers the field, boom, your whole board goes. But they will still trigger all your Viking effects, and will also put Amber Whale in the graveyard to bring back a link, and put your Promethean Princess in the graveyard for her effect, so it's not as bad as it sounds. Now, you don't want that to happen, of course, but it's not the end of the world if it is blown up, that's what I would say. And to wrap up the main deck, we have triple Infirm, triple Ash, and triple Nibiru. So Nibiru is insane right now with the banning of all the generic negate cards. In Snake Eye Mirrors, this card will just flatten them. Ash Blossom is not only still great stuff after all these years, but it being a fire means opening multiples isn't a dead draw anymore, because you can just pop it off of this and do your Viking plays from there. And of course, Imperm, great, it's a negate that you can set as a regular trap and turn off any opponent's zones. It's not once per turn, so you can get multiple negates, and if one's forgetful, you can make them waste multiple cards in dead columns, which I have done several times. So yeah, I think that's a really good hand drop lineup for the main deck. There are a few others I play on the side for certain matchups, but these are the ones I would say would be essential right now in the meta. Moving on to our extra deck. Start things off simple, we have the 2 super power targets, Gorua and Muddragon the Swamp. Now, Gru would be a lot better if we were playing Fiendsmith because it's level 6, but in this deck it's just link material we can then draw a card off of to hopefully continue our plays. Muddragon, same thing, but also offers protection with its attribute changing effect. Next we have access to, next we play the Snake Eye Viking main line. So what we're doing here is going into one of these with our Snake Eyes, including Flamberge, bringing back 2 Snake Eyes of Flamberge's effect. Then we're going to link climb into this to bring back our Flamberge. Flamberge will then trigger, putting this from your grave into the back row. Then you link this and Flamberge into this. This leaves you with, at minimum, a pop with this, a pop with this, and a summon of this into an SP Delight. So that's 3 pieces of interruption with off of 1 card in your hand. That's pretty blooming good. Also, they do send you with the Viking cards, like I said, because these are pop with, because these cards get their effects if they're in the graveyard, so you can just destroy them. So someone blows up your Viking island, this will trigger, likely bringing one of these back from the grave. And if you've already been through your IP, this is a great backup in the grind, because not only does it let you continue to link climb, it can also get you back Viking, Snake Eyes, or even an Ash Blossom to be used on follow-up turns. And of course, our main payoff for IP is SP, two pieces of removal potentially. We also play one Dark Charmer. If you wonder why I'm not playing Heater, it's because most of my meta is running Dark right now, and also because with how badly this deck loses to Shifter, if I survive, oh, it is so cathartic to play this, take their Shifter, and win with going into an access code line through that. Speaking of which, yeah, we have access code talk right here for a win condition going second. With this deck playing Light, Dark, Water, and Fire in the extra deck, that's essentially 4 pops with a big amount of link monsters in this deck. You can make this guy very big, so he can almost OTK by himself. This card's fairly old at this point, but he's still really good. For another IP target, we have Goddess. She's a Dark Ruler on summon, and she is a negate for cards in the grave. This makes her really good against the Determined's player at my locals. She's also, because she uses one of the opponent's monsters as link material, she's good at outing towers effects, like, for example, Raid Raptors, or unaffected cards like the Nightmare, like the Game Puppets. I think that's right. Please correct me if I'm wrong on that. And we have the 1 Relinquish Anima for the 1 Link 1 we do play in this deck. This is good at removing problematic pieces from the opponent's field. It gains their points, so it gives you more damage to OTK with, and it's a good way to link climb if you need to get a link, if you've got an extra link 1 on your board. Then we have the Zelantis and Raging Phoenix cards for going second. This card on summon, it can basically flicker the entire board, and it can pop cards with the number of cards linked that are co-linked to it, I believe. Just come cards that are co-linked, so it's a good way to wipe the board. You can make it off of this, which can then come back even bigger and do even more damage. Now, this card is the most expensive card in the deck, so I wouldn't say you have to play this. It's just but it's a good line to play for for more ways to finish going second. And finally, my spicy attack, one of the X-Eagle Runics. With the Sanctuary, you can play this on your opponent's turn and dark all the field, or you can set it up to pop back row if you're playing something like Labyrinth or a deck using the Silhouette line. Also, we get the 3k body, which is good going second. And if it's destroyed with material under it, you can summon back Vikings, which gives you more Garruk's pops, gives you another potential Revival Kirin, gives you another search with Ponyx, etc. This is obviously an optional tech. You could play another link if you wanted to, but with a Flonderese deck at my locals, I want something to play through an M-Pen. So something that's in defense and using its bomb up effect, it's one way you can out clear Flonderese decks. Finally, for the side deck, 2 Bastiles. This is to deal with the heavy dark focus at locals right now. They're also decent. They're also free bodies to link climb with, and Druid's Worm can remove monsters, while Magnemove can search Druid's Worm if you haven't drawn it, or if you have drawn it, it gets another way to get access to Flamberge. Then we have 3 draws for the Good by FTK deck. That's at my locals. This card makes that deck very difficult to play because they need to search a lot to get all their FTK pieces, so they are forced to end on a somewhat suboptimal board that you can hopefully break through with your Fire Kings and then finish them off with your Snake Eye lines. The 3 Super Polys, good against everything that's not named Bell. This is really good at breaking Savage boards with 1 card, and because you're playing a lot of 1 card combos in this deck, you have to get a lot of fuel to discard to this. For example, you can ditch your dead Ponyxes, your extra Viking Islands, or something like that. And of course, getting into Garuda for link climbing lets you get more cards, so you can replace the card you discarded. Next we have the 3 Lava Golems. To continue my board breaking theme, the reason I chose this one as my main board breaker is because 1, it doesn't target, so you can just remove things. 2, you can just trigger 2 things and they can't respond to it. 2, it's a fire, so you put it with Viking Island if it's dead in your hand. And 3, because it burns in time. And finally, 3 cross out, and this should be a shifter. Now, cross out's good this deck anyway, because we're playing all the best hand traps, but we need an out to shifter in this deck, because all our cards have to have the grave for their effects to trigger. And of course, the one time I drew this combo, I drew both pieces, so yeah, that wasn't very pleasant. But usually this would be a good way to get your combo through against shifter decks, which by the way, there are 4 of them at my locals. Yeah, 4 shifter decks. Why? So there we have it, my semi-budget Viking Snake Eye deck. Again, I'm looking forward to trying this out with Bonfires when I get the reprint, and maybe the Simple Spell Engine if I can get a hold of it. But this is still doing me fairly well at locals at the moment. I think if you're playing at a less competitive event, this is more than enough to do well at. Thank you guys for watching. The next video should be out by the end of the week. It's taking longer because I've gotten I've got a job since then, and it's got full-time hours, so my time making videos has been a bit less recently. But expect something out by Friday, hopefully. Thank you all for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.